Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sania Abbas, and thank you, KOHLER, for inviting me today to speak to you all. It's fantastic that KOHLER has set the agenda around connected things, because this is what I talk about or I work, on every single day. And the reason why is because the sensors that make things smart have become so affordable. So now the physical world can talk to us, and that physical world previously was your infrastructure, your watches, your cars, everything that we are so used to and using in our day-to-day lives can now actually communicate and tell us how it's being used, why it's being used, when it's being used. So to give you an example, 30 billion things by 2020, that's 2 years from now. So this is happening now, and it's happening at a speed and at a scale that is amazing. It's tremendous, and it's because it's very affordable, and there's a lot of skill and talent behind it that's making it happen. And why are businesses interested in this? It's because and how our business is transforming. The way we see it is there's three specific areas. Companies are looking at how they transform in three areas, where how they engineer their products. And why that's important is smart things or connected things are software centric, right? So they are quite complex, because now the equipment, the thing, the device, whatever it might be, has to work 24/7. It's producing tremendous amount of data, so it has to be able to handle that data and be able to communicate back and forth, so that maybe a patch needs to be in place in real time. The second way companies are transforming is the way how they operate their businesses. And again, that's possible today because, again, your equipment, your plant can talk back to you. So even before you know that your turbine or your machinery is going to go down, you will start getting the input from the equipment in advance so that you can proactively fix it. And this really helps businesses run 24/7. They can manage their downtime and, most importantly, increase their yield. The third way companies are transforming is the way they engage with their end clients. And this is important is because customers are looking more and more for brands that they can trust, and manufacturers want that engagement so that they can delight their customers by producing or manufacturing products that customers want to use and want to pay for. So again, Internet of Things helps you to make sure that your products or what you think or what you've designed is actually what customers want. Okay. So the couple of use cases that I'm going to talk about are focused around software-driven products, and secondly around voice enabled. And I know this is something that was mentioned even in the KOHLER video earlier. So it was, and the feedback that was in the video was fantastic, because this is exactly what we're seeing in the market as well, across industry. Whether it's your home, it's your manufacturing plant, it's a mine, it doesn't matter. Voice-enabled digital assistance is coming everywhere. It's coming up everywhere. So to give you, I guess, a story, Whirlpool, I guess, is known by most people. They are over 100 years old. They are a white goods manufacturer, so they produce refrigerators, washing machines, you name it. And it's the first time now that Whirlpool now understands how their machines are actually truly being used. Because they used to go through a distribution network, and they never really understood how or who was buying their product and how it was being used. But now their machines are connected. So guess what happens? First of all, call centers, right? Most of us, when a machine breaks down or a machine is locked, most of us are not in a very good mood, right? But now, because the machine is connected and they call their call center, the engineer or the call center rep on the other side actually knows about the error. He already has the information. So what they're, not only the engagement during that conversation is a much much more efficient conversation, but also you can then find ways to upsell in that conversation because it's a trusted conversation. And what Whirlpool are finding is that, or their expectation at least, is they're going to have a 70% reduction in this customer call cost and 50% in warranty costs that they have. The second benefit that they have is now they're trying to, or they can understand how the machines are actually used. So to give you an example, a single family is going to probably use about 4 to 5 kgs a week of load, washing. Whereas if that load increases or doubles up, Whirlpool now understands that something has happened. There's a family event that's happened. Maybe there's you've now gotten married or you have children, but that helps Whirlpool get the insight to then be able to help you with your maintenance. So the maintenance of the machine changes, and they can now provide you that as a proactive service so that you have continuous service from your machines. Now, obviously, this is something you can opt in and out of because I know privacy is important and not everybody wants things connected and maybe sharing that insight with the manufacturers. So with all of these things, manufacturers are very conscious about security and privacy of what the patterns are. But this is how. Now, the third benefit they've noticed is that maybe you had thought of, or all of our machines have lots of buttons, lots of options. Well, are they all being used? Do we even know how often or when and where, and is there value in those functions and features? Whereas if the machine is connected, which is now what it is, Whirlpool has insight as to which of those functions are actually of value, actually being used. And therefore, again, they can revisit the design and improve on it and improve the loyalty of their customer base. So understanding more about voice. So I guess most of us understand voice, right? Voice, whether it's smart homes or it is through your phone. A lot of us have experienced that or use it already. What we're now looking at is AI-powered digital assistants into every product. So we have Watson Assistant available today that you can incorporate into any one of your products that you have. And what that does is gives you time to value. It gets you to your market or into your customer base as quickly as possible because you can incorporate that as a service into your product set. And why this is important, I think we heard that in the KOHLER video right up front. This is where we are, and this is, I think, the expectation going forward. More and more people want to have voice-enabled services, right? And again, it gives insight back to the manufacturers as to what kind of features and functions they want from their product. So voice is definitely something we're seeing across the board. I know we earlier talked about mobility a lot, and those designs were beautiful. I loved, all the Hyperloop and the trains. That's amazing. I think definitely how cities operate and how transportation is evolving with ride sharing and Hyperloops and drones. This is, I think my kids are going to have an amazing experience or amazing lifestyle, in my view. I think it's fantastic. But something that's available now, I wanted to talk about mobility for a second because a lot of